This is the news on NT International. I'm Lami Ali, and the sign language interpreter is Shegun Ajayi. Let's begin with the headlines. Nigeria fine-tunes its agenda as Abu Dhabi Sustainability Week Summit kicks off. International Criminal Court of Justice commences hearing on genocide allegation in Myanmar. Defense College strategizes on blocking financial terrorism and promoting regional security. We begin from Abu Dhabi, where the Sustainability Week Summit kicks off with the opening ceremony slated for tomorrow, Tuesday. State House correspondent Musbaud Anwahab reports that President Bola Tinubu, who is in the United Arab Emirates to attend the annual summit, has been meeting members of the Nigerian delegation to fine-tune Nigeria's agenda to the summit.
Yes, the government of United Arab Emirates is again opening this platform of Abu Dhabi Sustainability Week Summit to discuss issues around the challenges of sustainability across the world, talking about food security, finance, water and nature, among other issues around sustainability. And the major aim is to find solutions to them, sustainable one at that. And with the theme, the nexus of next all system goal, the government of this country, in collaboration with partners across the world, is trying to set a new global benchmark for collaboration and measurable impact towards finding solutions to the sustainability issues that I have mentioned earlier. And I'll participate in this event, a week-long event, heads of state, ministers, business leaders, investors, as well as innovators, among others, who will be on the table at different fora throughout the week to look at issues around sustainability across the world. And President Bola Tinubu is expected to make a presentation at the opening ceremony tomorrow, and we cannot actually preempt what he's saying, what he's going to say at that event, but basically the president is expected to present at this global platform what Nigeria as a country has been doing or is about to do around sustainable development and areas of collaboration, particularly with the government of United Arab Emirates and other investors available here. We spoke to the Nigerian Minister of Foreign Affairs, Ambassador Yusuf Tuga, earlier. Let's take a listen to him regarding an insight to what is expected to come up tomorrow.
Events such as the Abu Dhabi Sustainability Week provide the opportunity to extract certain tangible projects, commitments, funding that perhaps have been agreed. And in the case of Nigeria, we have a deficit in terms of project preparation. So this presents an opportunity to come with identified projects and try and source the funding from some of the countries and the organizations that are going to be in attendance.
And on the sideline of this event tomorrow, President Bola Tinubu is expected to have some bilaterals with heads of state, particularly the host President Sheikh Mohammed bin Zayed Al Nahyan, on areas of collaboration, the existing ones. There have been some issues between Nigeria and United Arab Emirates. So this bilateral tomorrow is expected to provide a platform for the two leaders to discuss these issues and how to take the partnership forward. Let's take a listen to what the Minister of Foreign Affairs said about that.
One of the things to be discussed there is the Comprehensive Economic Partnership Agreement, which is expected to be signed during that bilateral agreement. So this sort of concretizes some of the discussions that have been going on and some of the investment opportunities, because a lot of investors from the UAE side are saying they want that agreement to be signed so that they ensure their investments will be protected once it's signed and they come in with the investments. On the Nigerian side, it also protects the investment of Nigerians. That, you know, we have a lot of Nigerian businesses doing business in Dubai. Some actually even have factories and so forth. So this further protects them, and it also dignifies the Nigerian. For us, we want to ensure that the dignity of Nigerians is upheld, and Nigerians are respected wherever they go to.
Apart from the Minister of Foreign Affairs, Minister of Trade, Industry and Investments, Jumoke Oduwole, is also here, meaning that some issues around trade will also be discussed here with partners, foreign investors, and even the government of United Arab Emirates. But as all of those come through, we're going to keep you abreast of the issues from here.
Musbao there in Abu Dhabi. Now, did Myanmar commit genocide against its Rohingya Muslim minority? That's what judges at the International Court of Justice will weigh during 3 weeks of hearings starting Monday. The Gambia brought the case accusing Myanmar of breaching the 1948 Genocide Convention during a crackdown in 2017. Austin Angebe has the report.
Legal experts are watching closely, as it could give clues on how the court will handle similar accusations against Israel over its military campaign in Gaza, a case brought to the ICJ by South Africa. Hundreds of thousands of Rohingya Muslims fled violence by the Myanmar army and Buddhist militias, escaping to neighboring Bangladesh and bringing harrowing accounts of mass rape, arson and murder. At present, 1.17 million Rohingya live crammed into dilapidated camps spread over 8,000 acres in Cox's Bazar in Bangladesh. The Gambia, a Muslim-majority country in West Africa, brought the case in 2019 to the ICJ, which rules in disputes between states. Under the Genocide Convention, any country can file a case at the ICJ against any other it believes is in breach of the treaty. In 2019, lawyers for the African nation presented evidence of what they said were senseless killings, acts of barbarity that continue to shock the collective conscience. In a landmark moment at the Peace Palace Courthouse in The Hague, Nobel Peace Laureate Aung San Suu Kyi appeared herself to defend the country. She dismissed Banju's argument as a misleading and incomplete factual picture of what she said was an internal armed conflict. The former democracy icon warned that the genocide case at the ICJ risks reigniting the crisis, which he said was a response to attacks by Rohingya militants. Myanmar has always maintained the crackdown by its armed forces, known as the Tatmadaw, was justified to root out Rohingya insurgents after a series of attacks left a dozen security personnel dead. The ICJ initially sided with the Gambia, which had asked judges for provisional measures to halt the violence which the case was being considered. The court in 2020 said Myanmar must take all measures within its power to halt any acts prohibited in the 1948 UN Genocide Convention. In Abuja, Austin Anyebe, NTA News.
U.S. President Donald Trump said Sunday that Iran's leadership had called him seeking to negotiate after he repeatedly threatened to intervene militarily if Tehran killed protesters. Again, Austin Anyebe reports.
For 2 weeks, Iran has been rocked by a protest movement that has swelled in spite of a crackdown. Right groups warn has become a massacre. Initially sparked by anger over the rising cost of living, the demonstrations have evolved into a serious challenge of the theocratic system in place since the 1979 revolution. Information has continued to trickle out of Iran despite a day-long internet shutdown, with video featuring out of capital Tehran and other cities over the past 3 nights showing large demonstrations. As reports emerge of a growing protest, death toll, and images show bodies piled outside a morgue, Trump said Iran indicated its willingness to talk. Trump told reporters aboard Air Force One adding that a meeting is being set up. He added, however, that they may have to act before a meeting. The US-based Center for Human Rights in Iran said it had received eyewitness accounts and credible reports indicating that hundreds of protesters have been killed across Iran during the current internet shutdown. The Norway-based NGO Iran Human Rights said it confirmed the killing of at least 192 protesters, but that the actual toll could be much higher. More than 2,600 protesters have been arrested so far. In Abuja, Austin Anyebe, NT News.
Pope Leo XIV has received Venezuelan opposition leader Maria Corina Machado as the Vatican City on Monday. Details of the meeting was not made public. The Papa's audience came the same day as Italian Foreign Minister Antonio Tajani announced that two Italians, Alberto Trentini and Mario Bollo, held since November 2024 in Venezuela, had been released and were on their way home. Machado, who won the Nobel Peace Prize in December, has been sidelined by Washington in the wake of the U.S. intervention in Venezuela that toppled President Nicolas Maduro. U.S. President Donald Trump said on Thursday he would meet Machado this week. States and the federal government must collaborate to achieve economic development and diversification. Plateau State Governor Caleb Mutfwang stated this after briefing Vice President Kashim Shettima on recent events in the state.
The Vice President coordinates a lot of activities, particularly in the agri sector. And we have a lot to share about the collaboration. And so in essence, this is the purpose of the visit.
What's the Vice President's take about your visit?
Oh, the Vice President would always want to know what is happening in the States. And I can assure you that the Vice President was pleased to have me, and we had very, very useful conversations.
Recently, you decided to move your political party allegiance to the All Progressives Congress. Would like to know what has it been like since you defected?
It's an ongoing process. It's an ongoing process. I don't like to use the word defect. I like to use the word realignment. And it's work in progress, and things are shaping up nicely. At the appropriate time, I will engage the media.
He assured his commitment towards sustainable development and collaboration with the federal government in actualizing the renewed hope agenda of the Tinubu administration. Terrorism financing is said to be one of the key drivers of extremist activities. Against this backdrop, the National Defense College organized a strategic level course on countering the financing of terrorism and regional security. Defense correspondent Ismail Musa reports.
The 2025 Global Terrorism Index reveals that the Sahel region is responsible for more than 50% of global terrorism-related deaths. While counter-terrorism efforts have recorded notable successes, non-state actors continue to adapt sophisticated cross-border networks.
This threat continues to pose significant challenges to us as individuals.
The strategic level countering the financing of terrorism and regional security costs is designed to equip participants with advanced leadership, analytical and decision-making skills required to disrupt terrorism financing networks.
Terrorists, insurgents, they need a lot of logistics, and this logistics are not planned, and the kernel point, the compact core of this logistics is finance. If you're able to cut down terrorism and insurgency bandwidth funding to even 50%, you'll be able to manage the global crisis.
We must acknowledge the importance of collaboration both at national and regional levels. This is because of the complexity of our geopolitical, economic, cultural, and regional religious interconnectivity in West Africa, the Sahel region by extension, and the African continent as a whole.
The course also emphasizes strategic interagency cooperation, strengthening enforcement mechanism, and the adherence to international best practices on combating the financing of terrorism aimed at enhancing regional security. In Abuja, Ismail Musa, NTA News.
You're watching the news on NTA International. It's time to take a shot. The Ministry of Defense is adopting an all-encompassing approach to reposition the armed forces, not only to be more proactive and professional in tackling national security threats, but also forging international partnerships with enhanced indigenous production of military hardware. Minister of Defense General Christopher Musa reaffirms this as the Armed Forces Celebration and Remembrance Day National Symposium at the National Defense College, Abuja. Defense correspondent Olajide Bello reports that the theme for the symposium is securing Nigeria's future, the armed forces and national developments.
The attention has shifted to the National Defense College, where the top brass of the nation's armed forces are brainstorming to reposition the nation's security architecture. Let's take a listen from what they have to say.
Today is also a day of remembrance and celebration. Their courage, patriotism, and devotion to duty continue to inspire the men and women of our armed forces and other security agencies. Their legacy must remain central to our national consciousness and guide the decision we make in shaping defense and security policies.
Strengthen and expand multilateral frameworks such as the Multinational Joint Task Force and the Gulf of Guinea Maritime Security Architecture to collectively manage transnational threats. This strategic approach will enable Nigeria to effectively or efficiently allocate its defense resources towards internal security reform and co-development priorities.
This symposium is part of activities to mark the 2026 Armed Forces Celebration and Remembrance Day. It is a platform to chart a new course and, of course, brainstorm on how to improve the security architecture of the armed forces of Nigeria. From the National Defense College here in Abuja, Olajide Bello, NTA News.
When seconds count, every moment matters. In Nigeria, a decade-old law promises free emergency care for life-threatening conditions. But is it fulfilling its promise? The National Health Act 2014 mandates that hospitals, both public and private, treat patients in distress, including pregnant women, accident victims, and those suffering from heart attacks or gunshot wounds without demanding upfront payments. Here is Uche Ugochukwu with the report.
This is an emergency unit at the National Hospital, Abuja. As the name suggests, it is designed for responding to emergencies, as there is usually no time for negotiations but action when emergency calls. For pregnant women in distress, gunshot victims, children, and patients suffering from strokes or heart attacks, survival depends on how fast help comes. The National Health Act of 2014 was designed with this reality in mind. The law guarantees free and immediate emergency medical treatment for Nigerians facing life-threatening conditions regardless of the ability to pay upfront.
There are two components to it now. We have the NEMSAS, which is the National Emergency Medical Services and Ambulance System, and we have CMONC, which is Comprehensive Emergency Obstetric and Neonatal Care. So let's start with the NEMSAS. The NEMSAS is mainly for those that have road traffic accidents, snake bites, stroke, and other medical emergencies, while the CMONC is just for pregnant women or within their puerperium and new neonatal care, that's less than 28 days of life.
10 years after the Act came into force, questions remain. Is the law fully working when Nigerians need it?
When we come, they take to us and then put out for oxygen. If you wash, then go see them.
I think our government is doing its best, though it is not that satisfactory.
Anybody that comes and is not properly being attended to should reach to the next authority. Usually in National Hospital, we have a duty manager that is on ground who will reach in touch with either the CMAC or the coordinator of both the NEMSAS and the CMOC so that it can be smoothened up.
We have now successfully established a strong foundation across the health sector based on the reforms that were implemented, particularly around the BACPF.
Experts say increased public awareness and collaboration with healthcare providers will further strengthen emergency medical response nationwide. Uche Ugochukwu, NTA News.
Women's underrepresentation in politics and political leadership remains a huge setback in Nigeria's democratic experience and development efforts. However, the recent push for reserved seats for women in parliament may be the game changer in shifting the statistical landscape. Correspondent Ladibola examines the grassroots mobilization efforts of women in taking advantage of the anticipated reserved seat agenda.
Since the return of democracy in 1999, efforts to achieve inclusive gender representation in Nigeria's parliament have been relentless, with little or no tangible results to show. Available statistics reveal that 50% of women are not actively involved in the country's political leadership. The latest push for the passage of reserved seat bill is gaining support at the National Assembly and among other relevant stakeholders, raising hopes for increased women representation in parliament.
This passage of the bill, when we have reserved seats reserved for women, it only means that the women are going to contest among themselves.
If this bill is being passed, there will be lots of impact it's going to have for women in politics.
How are women being mobilized at the grassroots level to transform the political ecosystem?
With 2023 elections and 2019, we would see that the number of women who came out for these positions at the grassroots level skyrocketed with over 50% while we were analyzing.
Our governors, who are our leaders at the grassroots, are also, they believe that including women in governance is going to make things much, much easier for them. So we are very convinced and happy that this time around, all our leaders are on the same page when it comes to women inclusivity.
Political analysts predict better political power bargaining for women in 2027 if the reserved seat bill sees the light of the day. In Abuja, Ladibala, NTA News.
Now, Chairman and Chief Executive Officer of the Nigerians in Diaspora Commission, Abike Dabiri Erewa, has hailed the remarkable achievements of 2 Nigerians abroad, pledging the Commission's support for their efforts to uplift cancer patients and mentor young talents while promoting the country's positive image globally. Dabiri Erewa hosted Chinyinwa Judith Amadi, a trailblazing female biker who recently completed a grueling round-trip motorcycle journey from Lagos to France, and Mr. Odera Okwosa, a US-based professional boxer and entrepreneur. Here is the report.
Chinyere Judith Amadi, a biker, has just concluded a round-trip motorcycle journey from Lagos to France. She started the ride in October last year, which was aimed at raising 100 million naira for cancer patients unable to afford chemotherapy. A yoga and fitness instructor, originally from Owerri in Imo State, she met Abike Dabiri Erewa and said she drew motivation from her desire to aid cancer sufferers and defy societal norms for women from conservative backgrounds.
In every country, African country I get to, before I get there, I reach out to the backing community and ask them for support in terms of logistics passing through the border, if they can let me know what it takes, if they can support me in any way. And when I got to Burkina Faso, my first contact when I had the accident was a biker in Burkina Faso.
Proud of you, and we will be willing to work with you, partner with you to see how we can support this wonderful cause you're doing. So let's know how we can work with you. And it's important that everybody knows that we have a Nigerian woman of courage, of valor, of conviction, who believes, and I like what you said, that your voice. Sometimes we think women can't do things, but you've used your voice to say we can do it. So we celebrate you, we're proud of you, and we'll work with you all the way through. And welcome back home.
And tournaments and events, because I know there's a lot of talented young people here.
In the same meeting, Dabiri Erewa welcomed Odera Okwosa, accompanied by his brother Henry, praising the boxer's consistent promotion of Nigeria through societal media and public engagement in the UK. Odera, a fitness entrepreneur, media influencer, author and heavyweight champion, has claimed titles including the British University Championship, 2 London titles, the East Midlands title, and the UK national title.
And I'm someone myself, I've been privileged to come back and actually see everything that Nigeria has been giving back to my soul, giving back to my family. And along this trip that we've just been on, it's been a 10-10 experience. And, you know, I've been so happy that I've even said to a few people, I want to extend my trip.
Dabiru Ewewa reaffirmed NIDCAM's dedication to partnering with Nigerians abroad who foster positive change. The meeting underscores NIDCAM's ongoing efforts to engage the diaspora in Nigeria's growth, highlighting stories of determination and national pride.
And those are the stories at this time on NTA International. We thank you for being a part of it. I'm Lami Ali, and the sign language interpreter has been Shegun Ajayi.